Thank you again for all your comments. Gerard Skippen says, in respect to the potential revolt within the Tory party, five names were mentioned: Braverman plus cohort, Jenrick, Cash, Anderson, and Badenoch. I think I also mentioned Frost, David Frost, not the wonderful broadcaster, but the ermined lord who conducted the poll for Conservative Britain Alliance, which is something I've never heard of before, by the way, warning that the general election will probably produce a 1997 stark wipeout. No, the purpose for this poll was to terrify the Conservative readers of the Daily Telegraph, where it takes front page, and it's there. It's not there to predict the future. The future Conservative fallout will not be as great in the general election as is predicted in this poll, no matter what happens. It's not possible for a first past the post election to have that dramatic effect. It would be this would be even greater than the election that wiped out the Liberal Party in the early part of the 20th century. It's not going to happen, I think, because it would require a lot more support for the Labour Party itself, and I don't see that happening. What's happening at the moment is a loss of interest in the Conservative Party, not a huge swell of support for the Labour Party, which is what would be needed to translate into such a large number of seats. No, I think the Conservative Party is heading for electoral disaster, not because it's going to lose so many seats. It will lose the next election, don't worry. But because it will then fracture into so many different parties, and the R people: reform, repair, revolt, restore, reconfigurate. Anyway, the parties led by people like Richard Tice and Farage in all but name will take over some of that some of that energy, and people will defect to those parties, or indeed the party itself will somehow or other take over the Conservative brand, and will then be unelectable, by the way. Will then be unelectable. We will be left with a ragbag of a disunited opposition, to the extent that I think it's very possible that there will be no immediate opposition leader. And that will be very strange. It will guarantee the Labour Party power for at least 2 parliamentary sessions, maybe more. But it will be a worse parliament than the one we've got at the moment. The one we've got at the moment has been bad because we haven't had a very effective opposition to challenge and to hold in line the government. We're going to have an even bigger display of that following the general election. And as one shouldn't spend too much time looking at the numbers. The numbers in the Daily Telegraph are designed to frighten. They're not designed really as a genuine form of election prediction, and it's an exaggeration. And it comes, of course, at exactly the time when the far right in the Conservative Party wants to terrify people into supporting them. Terror has always been the machine of the far right, has it not?